Hey Renee, the internet has questions. Hopefully, you have some answers.
God help me.
Should Apple recall the MacBook Pro?
No, I mean yes, but no. So here's the thing, Apple has already done a replacement program for batteries in the escape key version of the MacBook Pro, and they'll do that anytime the amount of incidents gets higher than a certain threshold. Apple is keenly aware about the feedback and the problems with the keyboard. I mean, it's a keyboard everyone at Apple uses, it's a keyboard everyone in the media is writing about, but it hasn't reached that level yet. I personally have not had any problem with the units I've had, but I know a lot of my friends have had problems. I've had problems with previous generation MacBook Pros. I've had to have those keys, those top cases repaired. But I think there is just such a toxicity, such a negative sentiment about this generation of MacBook Pros that it doesn't matter. And also as a single vendor, Apple just simply can't have a product on the market that's this divisive with its customer base. So I think they're gonna have to address it no matter what.
What is the future of the Touch Bar? Is it gonna go downstream to the MacBook or go away when they release Face ID to macOS?
I think Apple was really genuinely excited about it. They spent years working on it, and it really is useful sometimes. For example, if I'm doing a full screen recording, I never have to try to remember what button actually ends it. It's right there. Or if I'm using an app I haven't used in a long time, I don't have to look up the keyboard shortcuts. They're right in front of me. But the fact that we haven't seen it propagate to the MacBook, we haven't seen it get integrated with the Magic Keyboard, makes me think it's really not that long for this world.
Hate that Touch Bar. At Renee Ritchie, if you were any cereal, what cereal would you be? Oh, Vector. At Renee Ritchie, am I the only one that hates using Hey Siri to deal with the HomePod? Wouldn't it be easier if you could just say, Hey HomePod, so that you don't trigger all of your devices to go on at once?
It's certainly inconvenient in many instances, both when you have multiple devices or you live with people who have multiple devices. And voice recognition helps somewhat, but it really is a problem that needs to be solved. I think Apple doesn't like the idea of Hey HomePod because it's not personal. And a lot of research has shown that when you have a name like Siri or Alexa or Cortana, people have a much greater affinity for the technology than if you just say Google or you just say computer. But I think in between the two, for example, custom activation words, I think that's really important for people, and I think we'll need it as these devices keep scaling.
At Renee Ritchie, we know you love technology, but tell us, was there ever a time that you thought to yourself, I'm so happy that there's no tech involved?
Whenever Georgia is using her iPhone, it's super annoying, and I wish it would go away and just stop so she could pay attention to life that's going on around us.
That's the only time I can see you angry at tech is when I'm using my phone. If you're using your phone, you're totally thrilled with tech, but suddenly I'm doing it. And you're like, oh, what are you doing, George? And you call me out on it. I'm like, really? Renee's just called me out on it? The pot.
Over time, though, I hope that devices demand less of our attention and we start being able to get more passive information. I think that's where stuff like AR is going. So eventually we'll have glasses or contacts or just some sort of device that feeds us this information in the corner of our eye or into our ear, like with AirPods. And they won't be as disruptive as screen devices are, but they'll be incredibly helpful for a lot of the things we do every day.
When is Apple going to delete the Lightning port? People are scared. People are worried.
I mean, I think it's inevitable. I don't think Apple will be the first to get rid of ports and buttons. We saw HTC make a squeeze box phone, and rumor had it that Google was going to try to get rid of ports with the previous generation of Pixel phones, but they couldn't get remote restore working properly. But it's just a matter of time. Vendors see them as mechanical failure points, and they think that the device will be more reliable without them. We've already seen the Apple TV, for example, ditch the USB-C port. As a consumer, I love big clicky buttons and things I can plug into, but I don't think they're long for this world.
Apple will do that. That's the thing. Apple would do that. Renee, one superpower. Go.
So I thought about something like telepathy, but then I go Dark Phoenix like way too fast. So I considered flight, but then if you don't have invulnerability, when you land, you'll break your legs. Or super speed, but if you don't have invulnerability, when you go really, really fast, you'll burn up. Or invisibility, but if you don't have invulnerability, you could get hit by a car that doesn't see you and then you're just dead. So I think I'm gonna go with invulnerability.
I'm thinking about getting the iPad Pro. Should I get one now, wait till June, WWDC? What is the best time to buy one?
Here's my standard advice. Always wait absolutely as long as you possibly can wait before you buy something, and then buy it and have zero regrets. There'll always be something new, there'll always be something next. Just get what you need and then enjoy what you get.
Why doesn't the Mac have HomeKit support?
I don't know. I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Fix it, please.
Oh, this is a really good one. This is a good one. Okay, here we go. If you had to give up your iPhone for any Android phone, what would it be?
I have a Pixel 2 XL, so I think that answers the question, but it's really good software with really mediocre hardware. It really is mediocre. Samsung makes much better hardware, but their software is crap. So in a perfect world, I'd have a Galaxy S-Class device with Google PixelClass software, but that device doesn't exist yet.
What are your most used iOS apps?
So I did a whole video on this. I did a whole video explaining all the apps on my iPhone, and you can go check it out. I'll put the link to it right below.
At Rene Ritchie, can you make my uncle's cousin's friend's brother a website?
I would just send them to Wix.com. You can make a professional website there. It doesn't matter if you're a photographer, a videographer, if you're in a band, if you own a restaurant, whatever you want. They do all the heavy lifting so that you can concentrate on the content. But again, me talking about it is nowhere near as cool as you experiencing it. So just go to wix.com/go/vector and try it out. I think you'll be so hooked, you'll have your own website in no time. Georgia, thank you so much for interrogating me on behalf of the internet.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for sending in your questions. If you have more, I'll do another show like this, so just keep sending them in. In the meantime, hit like, hit subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.
That's it. The internet has no more questions. We've done it all.
Do you have any questions, Georgia?
Yeah. What's the one thing you hate the most about your iPhone?